Lesson 8. Karen Bloomgarden, a 43-year-old gym teacher, was a disaster as a child growing up in New Jersey. I did very poorly in school, she recalls. Her teachers and parents were constantly blaming her for troublesome behavior. They just felt I was being bad, too loud, too physical, too everything. She consulted a psychologist at age 10, but nobody came up with a diagnosis. As a teenager, she began abusing illegal drugs. The athletic Bloomgarden managed to get into college, but she admits that she cheated her way to a diploma. I would study and study, and I wouldn't remember a thing. I really felt it was my fault. After graduating, she did fine in physically active jobs, but was confused with administrative work. Then, 4 years ago, a doctor put a label on her troubles: ADHD. It's been such a weight off my shoulders, says Bloomgarden, who takes 2 types of medicines to improve her concentration. I had 38 years of thinking I was a bad person. Now I'm rewriting the tapes of who I thought I was to who I really am. 15 years before, no one had ever heard of ADHD. Today, it is the most common behavioral disorder in American children, the subject of thousands of studies and symposiums and no small degree of controversy. Experts on ADHD say it afflicts as many as 3.5 million American youngsters, or up to 5% of those under 18. It is 2 to 3 times as likely to be diagnosed in boys as in girls. The disorder has replaced what used to be popularly called hyperactivity, and it includes a broader collection of symptoms. 10 years ago, doctors believed that the symptoms of ADHD faded as they grew older. Now, it is one of the fastest growing diagnostic categories for adults. 1/3 to 2/3 of ADHD kids continue to have symptoms as adults, says psychiatrist Paul Wender, director of the Adult ADHD Clinic at the University of Utah School of Medicine. Many adults respond to the diagnosis with relief, a sense that, at last my problem has a name and it's not my fault. Many of those who treat ADHD see the recognition of the problem as a humane breakthrough. Finally, we will stop blaming kids for behavior they cannot control. But some are worried that the disorder is being embraced with too much enthusiasm. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon, complains psychologist Mark Stein, director of a special ADHD clinic at the University of Chicago. Parents are putting pressure on health professionals to make the diagnosis. The temptation of ADHD is that it is a label of forgiveness, says Robert Reed, an assistant professor in the Department of Special Education at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. The kid's problems are not his parents' fault, not the teacher's fault, not the kid's fault. It's better to say this kid has ADHD than to say this kid drives everybody crazy. For adults, the diagnosis may provide an excuse for personal or professional failures, observes Richard Bromfield, a psychologist at Harvard Medical School. Some people like to say, the biological devil made me do it.